and today we got to play Welcome to the Moon. So this is a spinoff, well, not quite a spinoff, but it's a campaign version of Welcome to the Neighborhood or something. To the Neighborhood. Anyway, but before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because board games are amazing and that's what we do here at Legends of Nirvana. All right, so Randy, tell us more about Welcome to the Moon.
All right, well, Welcome to the Moon is a 2021 release, although it didn't really hit the stores retail here in the United States until 2022. Mm-hmm. It has a Board Game Geek rating currently of 8.2 and a Board Game Geek rank of 1356. It plays 1 to 6 players, unlike the other Welcome to, which is 1 to 99, I believe. It's 25 to 30 minutes in length per each individual session.
Right.
And age 10 and up, which is probably about right. Designed by Alexis Allard and Benoit Turpin. Art is by Anne Heidsieck and published by Blue Cocker Games. And it's an MSRP of $44.99, which is a little pricey, but you do get dry erase boards in this one. Card House and Miniature Market both have it available for $35.99. Cool Stuff didn't have it in stock, so if you're interested, those are the 2 cheapest I saw.
Okay, all right, so let's talk about quality of pieces. So like he mentioned, there are dry erase boards. So those are pretty, I actually think they're pretty nice. Card quality, however, there's no linen finish. Okay, thickness, not great, but then you're not doing a lot of shuffling on this. You're shuffling and then
it does come with dry erase markers. The dry erase markers are
pretty your standard.
They're not very good. They don't have no eraser. They just have the marker.
So not too bad. And then you have these cardstock boxes. It's cardstock. It's not even cardboard.
Yeah,
I feel they're kind of...
Yeah, it's cardboard. This is very thin cardboard. They're not very good. They're not well made.
Okay, barely more than cardstock.
Yeah, they're very thin.
And then the symbols are just symbols.
Yeah,
and they have no meaning.
This was really kind of a letdown. We opened it because normally you don't, when you're getting a campaign type game, you don't open the boxes until I tell you to open the boxes. But in this case, the cards were in 3 wrapped packs spread across the boxes, one of which is the solo box, because it says Astra on it, which is the solo campaign. But yet, we've started the game out and realized we were missing all the high numbers from 13 or 12, above 12.
Yes.
So we had to end up finding out that they were in the solo pack, which was in, so it was like, this makes no sense why you're supposed to go and get in all the boxes and open everything.
Well, and then Randy didn't know to look in the campaign.
Yeah,
you didn't read the directions completely.
Well, it said not to read the directions completely. It said to stop, and it was on the next page where it was in a box that said, to open the campaign book. So we played our first session and then realized there was no campaign part, so we had to go kind of retro do the campaign, but it didn't really
We did better the second time.
Yeah, we played the second session with the campaign. It didn't really impact anything.
No, but still, it was so funny because we were all confused.
But it definitely adds to the game from the. But we'll get to that in gameplay.
All right, so
quality
of components. Yes,
I will probably give it a 5.5 just because of the dry erase boards. I don't think it's that much better than just an average.
I agree. This is a card game, and the cards aren't great. And then you have the dry erase. Okay, yes. But then, the boxes are really kind of sad. Well,
I think it's more the fact that the way they arranged them. I mean, the boxes are kind of irrelevant to the game. They're just there to divide. But usually it's you open this when you get to a certain point in the game and it reveals more components. But in this one, you were forced to open everything just to get the cards you needed to play the base game.
So I don't know what the point of the boxes are.
Yeah, that's why it didn't make any sense.
Right.
And there wasn't really any reference in the rules to tell you what to do on that. It was just, we found out trial and error and contacting my sister who's played through the whole game. So yeah, it was kind of a letdown, but I think that's actually probably a detriment to the rule book when we get to the rules.
Yeah, but quality of pieces, I agree with you. 5.5. That's it. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go with 6.
Yeah, I can't.
You just can't.
No.
You know, and the fact that, you know, your dry erase markers are just markers. There's no eraser.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go find something to wipe it off with. You know, everybody's got something to wipe it off with, but it should be with it.
Yeah.
5.5.
All right, so now let's talk about theme. We're going to the moon, fellas. So actually, I thought it was interesting. Like the first campaign, little spoiler alert, you're trying to get your rocket to go off into space. So I actually thought that the theme was well represented a little bit better than I thought it was going to be.
I like it. I like there's a lot of, I'm not going to tell you all the references, but there's a lot of sci-fi references we saw already.
Well, I tell you what, so right there was a little, what are they called, Easter eggs?
Yeah, there's lots of those
from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So, so there's a lot of few little things that I thought was kind of nice.
Yes, and and the story it's fun. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's as in depth as some of the other ones I've seen, but this one, it's just light, fun sci-fi tribute, and there's definitely some references there. There's a little bit of humor, some, you know.
Yeah, I mean, so I thought it was cute and it was good. I'm thinking a 7.
I'm probably going to go a little higher, just because I think they put a lot of thought into the campaign book, and the themes from one chapter to the next tie and make sense sequentially what you would be doing. I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8.
Okay.
I too will give it an 8. And that's because, you know, they didn't only just, I think the symbols also translate well in each of the different scenarios that we've seen so far.
And a lot of the functionality is very similar to what you've experienced in Welcome To, but taken to the space setting.
They
translated
themed
well.
it to yes. So I think I'll go with an 8 as well.
Yeah, well, okay, that's gameplay. Okay, so now let's move on to Rulebook. This is where we probably have a few concerns because, well, I didn't read it, but he was lost and he had to double check. And so I was just sitting back thinking, when y'all figure it out, you let me know.
The rulebook is 36 pages, and each section, I mean, the first basic portion just tells you how the standard game of Welcome To plays, in essence. But after that, it goes into each of the different adventures you go on. So you could play the game without ever hitting the campaign book if you just wanted to play each individual scenario.
Right.
But if you want to actually have the story experience, you need to have the campaign book. And I don't think they did a great job of pointing you to do that back and forth. The other thing is there's absolutely, like I mentioned, no reference in the rule book to the cards, and that you got to go open up all those boxes to get them. So it's very confusing for someone who's used to playing a game where it tells you don't open these until you're told to do so. Because you open all the boxes, and it doesn't make a lot of sense why they're even there if you're going to do that. And there was, I mean, it's worded a little weirdly in a few places too. It wasn't horrible, but it's definitely not great. I will give it probably a 7. It does get the message across. It would be nice if it integrated better with the campaign book, and definitely needed to reference to tell you that you need to open all the packs. And I really don't understand why they packaged them the way they did, because you could have easily they fit nicely in the boxes in the right section. So why not bundle the cards together where they belong?
Right.
Yeah. All right. So, do you have any thoughts on the rulebook?
All I read was a page, was a snippet that said, "Look at the campaign book."
That I will point out was definitely after it said, "Don't read the entire campaign book."
So, anyway, all right. Now let's talk about gameplay. So, I will say, depending on which module you play is going to change how the campaign runs. So I think we'll just go over the first scenario to kind of get you guys kind of jump started. So this one is very similar to Welcome Home in the fact that you have rows that you're trying to complete. But this time it's a little bit different in that the color or the action item literally goes to a line of your spaceship instead of having a different action like you see in Welcome Home. So with that, but again, you're starting from left to right, the lowest number on this side going up. And, if you screw up, this, I don't think it was a lot easier because there were so few and you have 1 through 15. So trying to get the numbers in order, not that big of a deal. This one is really, knowing what I know now, is very much a race.
Yes.
Versus what I'm accustomed to Welcome Home is try to get as many points, where this one feels way more like a race. And if I'd known that, maybe I would have played it differently. I don't know. But with that being said, so anyway, so as you complete the row, there are, then you get stuff. So what that stuff can be is straight up rockets that will go here when you fill it up. We'll talk about that. Then also there is rockets with a little arrow, and you have to gain a darkened arrow somewhere else to trigger those victory points. Then you have the red exclamation points. Now the red exclamation points, you basically circle these negative victory points, if you will, or these exclamation points, and you can remove those over the course of the game by completing complete rows of your spaceships here. Now,
with this one though, the exclamation points actually affect your opponents and not you.
Yeah,
if you get them
bonuses.
If you get them on the bonuses, they affect other people, not you. Now, I'd also like to think if you cannot play any of the numbers available, then you also get one of these exclamation points. So it can harm you as well through that. But again, you can get rid of them, and you cannot leave. You cannot go. Your spaceship cannot take off unless all of these have been eliminated through your building of points. So for me, I was worried about getting these and not having enough space to them. And so I was a little bit slower on getting those points. And then Randy beat me by 1 spaceship. And I thought, oh, well, if I would have not waited and just ran with it, I would have been fine. I hadn't.
Now, this is just the first scenario, because each scenario plays completely differently.
Right.
I mean, it still uses the foundations of Welcome to Your Perfect Home, but it's broken into completely different ways it handles those.
Right. And and that's why I said I'm just going over this one, just kind of get you guys jump started. Now, again, just like Welcome Home, you have the 3 decks, right? And then you flip over them and you have a number and you have an icon, okay? In this instant, the icon represents the color that you can fill, and then the number is the number on here. Now, I did forget to mention that this bottom gear are wild. So basically, I have a 5 calendar, and my calendar's all filled up. Well, I can put that 5 down here on that bottom row and still not get a penalty. So just remembering that row is basically kind of wilder row.
That row still has to be sequential. So you
still has
can run into a situation where you can't play even with that.
Correct, but you can use some of your numbers there as a backup plan. So that's kind of thing. Also with those, again, you have the same mission criteria. In this case, just like Welcome Home does, there's some some things that you could do to get extra victory points. Those are dictated by the campaign. So just kind of look at that and go through there. Overall, though, I really enjoyed it. I like Welcome Home quite a bit. I like this one as well. And I like that they played because we played the first 2. They played very, very differently, but yet it's still familiar because of the way the system works. I think that's kind of nice. You can kind of jump in without listening to rules.
I like this better than Welcome to Your Perfect Home because there is variety. I mean, now granted, Welcome to, they did release all the different other boards that you can play. So there is variety there too, but it's not in one package. Here it's all in one package. And the other ones they didn't release the dry erase sheets for all of them. It was just, if you want to dry erase, you basically got the standard board. Now they did put, for some reason, different ones on the backs of each one, but you're going to have one person with a dry erase for the Halloween and one for the Christmas. And it just it doesn't make a lot of sense why they did it that way. But on this one, you've got, everybody has a dry erase, and it's different with each gameplay. There's 8 games in one, in essence, for this. Not to mention, you get a story mode where you're playing through, and you get to. It's not a real engaging story, but it's still a story, and it's fun to see what they're going to say next.
Yeah, I'm interested to go through the whole campaign and figure out which is your favorite, because they're very, very unique, and I think I think we're going to end up finding that a certain round's a favorite, and I can't wait to see what that looks like.
And you can play it again. I mean, it's not like you put it away when you're done. You're not altering the game. So
yeah, I'm not okay. Yeah, I'm not okay with you winning the first one. That was one
I'm
rocket.
not okay with
Listen,
Kevin winning the second.
I wasn't okay with it either. That's why I won the second one.
Well, see, but listen, the second one, I don't know where I was at. I was not playing the same game you guys were. The first one, I was only one rocket away. Okay.
Well, I was left behind pretty bad. So I had to make up for it on the second one.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. We had a lot of fun. It was great. I enjoyed it. So let's talk about scoring for this. Someone want to go first?
Sure. I think I'll probably give this an 8.5. I think that's where I'm at. I think, Welcome to is kind of old as far as the mechanics of it to me, especially with now that we got games like the Hadrian's Wall, and those are way more engaging to me in this category. But Welcome to is still fun for an occasional game, but this one brings back some energy to it. I don't think it's still anywhere in the ranks of Hadrian's Wall, but it's still it's still a really good game.
What about you? What do you think?
I think I'm going to go with an 8. I've mentioned to you guys that, it feels kind of bingo-y, which isn't bad. And it's very solitaire. A lot of the stuff is very solitaire, which is good, because it makes it so that it can go quickly. And I like that aspect, that it can go quick. You can get done with it in 20, 30 minutes, and you can play another game. And so for that, I think it's an 8.
Yeah. I'm with Randy on this. I think an 8.5. I really enjoy it. Of course, I really like roll and writes. I like doing my own thing. I don't like player interaction. I just want to build better than you, and this allows me to do that. So.
Oh, were you building better than us?
Just you wait. All right, guys. But yeah, no, so I had a lot of fun with this one, so I'm going to go 8.5 on this. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We had an absolute blast tonight, and hopefully you'll come hang out with us again and check out some new board games with us. Catch you guys later. Bye.